We talk an awful lot of this channel about Mar Vista Entertainment. For those of you who are, follow the channel with a close eye, for those of you who may be unaware, they're a TV distribution company for TV films. So you might see films off the like Lifetime, essentially, maybe some other channels. They appear on a lot of streaming services, notably Tubi, and Netflix has had a broad bunch. But they tend to be involved within the TV film space. And they've done quite a broad range in regard to genre. They've done, their mainstay are like romantic thrillers especially, or, thrillers by and large, but they've done, holiday movies, family films, rom-coms. I've covered a broad range of their content here on this channel. But I have to say, this is one of the most serious ones I think I've seen from them. Well, actually, come to think of it, they did publish a film a while back, a lot earlier, and that was also like this one centered around a pregnancy. Granted, that one was an unplanned pregnancy, especially in the life of a teenager, and that was very well done. I thought it was really seriously taken, even though I can't remember at the moment if it was a fictional story or a non-fictional one. This is a non-fiction story. It's centered around a pregnancy, and it's, well, as I said, it's non-fiction. The poster even goes as far as to say it's inspired by a true story. This is one of the most potent movies I think I've seen from them in regard to the synopsis. It sounds beautiful, actually. Very dramatic story and maybe tragic in many ways going through it, but still, I would imagine, well, we'll see. Again, I don't know the real life in the circumstances that this is based around, but this is what it says according to IMDb for those of you who might be unfamiliar with the project by name. When a woman finally becomes pregnant but is diagnosed with a deadly condition, she must lean on her family to save her unborn child. That is very beautiful. I mean, again, at least the impression you get of maybe how the film will conclude. We'll see. Maybe, it could end tragically, because, as I said, I don't know the situation this is based on. But I do like the name between the two, Fighting for Her Family. I think that one speaks more to the nature of the movie. All for Her, maybe that's also speaking to, maybe it's a little girl that, she's giving birth to. That could be. I think both names, if that's, the way I'm interpreting it, if that's correct, I think they're fine. I would go with, I think they did actually, at least the way they marketed it on their YouTube channel, Fighting for Her Family. I think that title really is the better one of these two. But it sounds, again, very deep. I can imagine for probably many of the mothers that might happen upon this trailer and may have gone through such an ordeal like this, because, with pregnancy, there are complications that can arise. I'm sure this will speak to you, but it sounds like a beautiful story, and to see this mom push so hard, right, to, quite literally, involved in a pregnancy. No pun intended. It's quite unintentional on my part, but to see a mom pursue through, the pain and whatever condition that she's dealing with here, to give life to her baby, that's a very remarkable message to put out, and very inspirational one. Let's see, and it's just the experience of watching somebody, again, as tragic as the experiences might have been for this woman, to see her go through that and how she navigates said waters, I think will be, it'll speak to a lot of people. We're going to go ahead and watch this trailer first. I'll talk about it more in my condensed review segment for us watching the video together. I imagine, well, let's see. Normally, some of you might automatically at the first part that where I said Mar Vista Entertainment, you might be thinking, oh, I know this studio. They're also the studio that, within regard to a lot of their trailers, and they have not fixed this yet from the last couple of years. They always spoil the films within the context of their trailers. True, I think they release the trailers post publication on mainstream channels, so I think it's after the fact, but it's still kind of weird. Like, well, you want to get prospective viewers to happen upon your film. Why do you take a TV movie and basically chop down on the footage with the major plot points into 3 minutes and just leave nothing on the table regardless of prices for the film? It's odd. I imagine, I get a vibe here that it won't be the case, but let's see. Let's see if my conclusions are correct. But either way, it sounds like a remarkable film. Here we go.
Help! Come on. Hey, we need a doctor, please, right away. She's crashing. Nurse, get the...
So what is the condition? I wonder where they're going here.
Rick?
You found me.
You left a trail.
How'd the pitch go?
I can imagine for her, it makes for a very hard experience because she's probably already
Time's a charm, right?
How did it go
nervous
with the big
as you could be.
story wasn't there yet. I think we have to dig a bit deeper.
But she's also, I'm sure, very happy too.
Davina? Oh, it finally happened. You're pregnant.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Lifetime really was a charm, huh?
You're looking thin and more tired than usual.
The worst thing for me right now is stress. I cannot have my mother giving me another one of her lectures.
Lee, you okay?
Baby.
Davina?
What? Davina!
What happened?
I'm fine.
No, you're not.
Davina has a rare condition called pulmonary hypertension.
High blood pressure. Well, loads of people have that.
Okay.
This kind makes it especially hard to get blood from your heart to your lungs. Over time, it
Yeah,
could
it
lead
could
to
be. I didn't know that, well, you hear the organs stressing that condition by name, but it's not a condition that I'm firsthand familiar with. But yeah, that could be
You really want this
intense
baby?
for anybody.
More than anything.
But to couple that with a pregnancy component.
She's got a 50-50 shot at surviving this pregnancy.
I have to finish this story so she has something.
There's always next time.
I might not be here.
So the drawings are they sort of like, you know, what her daughter could be? Like the mom wants to see that potential future.
It's worth the risk.
She's gonna know how much we both love her, no matter what happens. Something is very wrong.
I don't want to lose you.
Don't you give up on her.
It does look like a very touching story. It's very sweet.
As brave as you are.
Good spirit to it.
Being brave doesn't mean you're not nervous or scared.
That's a good line. Again, a beautiful story. Did they mention in the trailer at all that this was inspired by a true story? I mean, not again to nitpick, but let me see. I don't think they did, or it didn't faze me. No, but I was gonna say like maybe to draw people in terms of like this. I would imagine this trailer probably played as a promo on some television networks. I don't know what networks it premiered on, or supposedly, because these are again TV films that More Vista tends to do. I think pretty much the entirety of the trailers I've seen, that's how they're released. I would have put in there, in the context of the trailer, that it was inspired by a true story, so that would probably speak to even more people. And granted, I guess my conclusion was also correct. They didn't spoil the film. I don't know why I felt different about this one. Maybe just for the seriousness of the plot. Maybe just because it's a more, well, it's obviously a more grounded story in that it is based on real life experiences. It's very touching, though. I'm curious to see how the film paces itself too. I mean, hopefully it doesn't feel. I would imagine it'll take its steps methodically well, because my worry is sitting there thinking, as this trailer starts out, this is going to be, well, what is it exactly? IMDb. Okay, so it's about 82 minutes. It seems that there's several time jumps in here, because you at least see her in the beginning, and maybe the flashback moments are brief, and the film substance more. Maybe it's like a vignette structured movie. Because I'm sitting there thinking, you go from like the beginning stages of when you first find out you're pregnant to you're in the hospital giving birth with this condition, I believe. Or maybe this is pre-birth and she's just trying to save the kid in her. Maybe she doesn't, I don't know, does she give birth at the end of the movie? I'm not sure. But you could tell a story technically where the overarching moment you keep reflecting back to is in the present day, but you sort of go back in time to see all the different steps of her pregnancy journey and the arrival of this condition that she's having to face through a vignette-like approach. So, condensed scenes, essentially, maybe split apart from one another just to get to that point where you've aged up in time. I mean, I could see that structure being employed. We'll see. I mean, either way, I think it's a beautiful release from More Vista and a very serious one. A story that and I've watched a couple of their films at this point. I not just, resigned myself looking at their trailers. Some of their films have been quite good, but it's mostly been in the fictional space. I haven't seen a nonfiction story from them yet. So that seems to be very, and again, they're distributing the film. I know there's over production credits and stuff, but that's a film that really looks like it has a lot of energy to it and a good release. I would imagine, again, it's going to speak to a lot of people that perhaps maybe have this condition themselves. Maybe that has been a factor in pregnancy. And I'd imagine that a show like this would bring all the emotions back, but it seems like, again, a very encouraging story. A very realistic one and beautifully told, beautifully depicted. Looks like a good project. What are your guys' thoughts with fighting for her family? I mean, energy-wise, again, I have not seen projects that tend to be this potent with More Vista, because I'm just so familiar with them from a fictional space, but I'm impressed. Let me know your thoughts down below. Don't forget all the good stuff, like, subscribe, to sharing that bell. Perhaps in the future we'll get more releases like this. I mean, I don't know. Again, I would imagine that majority of the films we're going to see in the future are probably down the typical line, which is fine. I'm just kind of like, well, this one's a bit different. I appreciate that. But until we get to watch more Vista films together, or maybe something else entirely, I will see you guys at that point. But until then, thanks for watching this video. I love you guys. Don't forget to love yourselves, your fellow man. God bless. And peace.